Yeah, so that's the main loop. That's it. That's pretty much the track. So you do the main loop, so that's gonna be like the chorus, but then comes the verse. So verse is pretty much easy. There's so many things I could do with the verse. It's ridiculous. I could literally drop out most of the sounds from the chorus and then add some more sounds for the verse. Play with it a little bit so it's more like verse like sounds. I could do that. I could just have strings riding in the verse, just simple, just so you can hear the melodic voice of the artist. I'm saying rhyming. Um, or I could take what I did with the chorus and start chopping that up and make that into a verse. There's so many things you can do. I mean, so it's endless. But the main loop is done. I'm very happy with it. And on top of that, I'm gonna name everything. I haven't named. I usually name, but I didn't name this time. But I'm gonna name everything. Make sure everything is named correctly. Export it out. And when I break it into FL Studio to mix it, to like really, I just mixed it, but to put the finishing touches on the mix of it, then I'll add more. I'm going to fatten up the kick a little bit more, get it a little bit more boom boom, a little more boomy in there. I'm going to take the hi hats. I'm going to put some automation on them, have them moving around more. It's going to be moving. I might even fatten up that bass line a little bit more. It's nice. I like the way it's sitting, but I might put a little bit of maybe some movement on it, maybe like a tremolo effect or something. Give it even a little bit more of a bottom end rumble. Like my mind is going crazy with the stuff that I can do with it. And then that's not even talking about putting the mastering stuff on it, add some more color characteristics to the sound, like art, like texture, add some texture to the sound, throw it through certain like channel strips to give it like that, like it came from a console feeling, like old school retro consoles. Like I have a lot in my mind to do. And on top of that, I'm trying to write. Well, I wrote the hook already, and then I'm trying to write a verse. But it's a lot. But if you up for the challenge, you just to do stuff from scratch. Then that's that's what it takes. Because you gotta work. You gotta to do it from scratch. It's really from scratch. If you really do it from scratch, if you really really perfect it, do it from scratch. And even I'm not the best at it. I'm just learning as I go. But to I just mixed it in here to get it to sound good. Usually I'll mix a beat in the MPC and I'll just send it out. But I have more tools now in FL Studio and it's easier to process. Like once I get into FL Studio, it's easier to work because I have a lot more effects tracks. It's just a lot more tracks and I just move faster. If I want to duplicate something, pan left, right, boom, boom, bam, just do what I gotta do. But I have specific plugins in FL Studio that make things move in a way that I wanted to move, and saturation and all this good stuff. So I'm gonna mix it in FL. I'm gonna finish mixing it in FL Studio. You can mix, master, whatever you want to call it, and that'd be dope. But the way that it's sitting right now, that's what I usually do. If I work in the MPC, I usually get my beat to sit a certain way, then I export out the master. I know you can master inside the MPC. I know all that. I don't care. That's not my point. My point is, I like working in FL Studio when it comes to mastering. So I'm gonna export this out, get it in there, and start working at it. So what you're hearing now is not the finished product. I mean, most people, that this probably would be their finished product, and that's the sound that they want to put out. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Just that I try to go the extra step when it comes to getting my stuff to sound really, really good. Like, I want it to sound good, man. Like I want it to sound like 10, 20 years from now, somebody put it on, they'd be like, oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want my music to be dated. Like dated in the sense where it's like, oh, that you can't rock with that no more. You know what I'm saying? You see how you hear or you see something and be, oh, that's really old. That's oh yeah. I don't want my music to be dated. I want to kind of like, saying stand with the best of them, like go through the times. So yeah. I might even swing the snares a tad bit, like give them a little swing to it, so it's like kind of flow a little bit more, flows a little more. I might do that. But I mean, technically, it doesn't really need it because the way I do my drums is I have a flow with my drums. Like it's just the way the way I swing them. You know what I mean? It's just the way I do it. I don't do drums like everybody else. Everybody have their own way of doing drums. You know, some people get stuck doing the same thing like the next person do, because I guess they're part of that genre. But my drums are different because my drums have a lot more air in it, a lot more space, because I'm trying to be more melodic with my drums. Like some people are like they're drumming. They're like, you know what I'm saying? They're like, but I try to be more like an instrument, I try to make my drums make sense in my song. So you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not a finger drummer. I tried to practice it. I didn't fail, but I never continued. So I have to practice. I have to continue to practice that. But even though I'm not a finger drummer, I still have nice drum patterns. You know, I think my drum patterns are cool in my beats. I think they're cool. They're flowy. They're like it's ghost wave. It's like that airy style. You know what I'm saying? So I usually I try to skip a lot, add some space to it. Is that I don't know. Like, but you know, some beats is dope. Like the grinder beat. Darn. You know that like the way they rock that thing. That's ill. You know. So sometimes having a lot of drums is dope, but just not my style. I try not to be like everybody else because I just don't like being like everybody else. Like being like myself. I just like just doing my own thing. I stick to myself and do my own thing. You know, nothing wrong with that. So it's like flowy. You know. So I like my style, man. I like my style. My style is flowy. You know, it's like it gets you like flowing. You know, like even my hi hats they flow. I like to beat my hi hats out. I try not to use like the note repeat. If and I know it's an excellent tool to have there, I just try not to do it because I want to like kind of like just get like the rhythm of the melody. I'm always trying to follow the melody. The melody is like you know I don't know, the glue to the track, I guess. I mean, the bass is the glue, but for me, I don't start out with the bass, so I start with the melody. I try to get everything to sync with the melody, so it's like one instrument playing. But I like my hi hats where they flow. Sometimes I do hi hats like a hi hat delay trick, so it's like hi hats, and then I let the delay help me with my rhythm. It's a pretty cool trick. So I try to play around with a lot of stuff, a lot of different techniques on each track. Some of my techniques are the same from track to track, but inside the track, it might be small changes, like different dynamics, different things I'll do that I don't know, just give it like a good flavor. So I like the hi hat in this one. It's nice. It's sitting nice, tucked in, nice pattern flows. I like my melodies too, because my melodies I try to like I've been practicing how to play chords and stuff like that, and I like playing chords. It's cool and all. But what I come to realize when I do music is that when I play chords and I'm stuck in a chord, I feel like I'm stuck in the chord progression. Like honestly, I honestly feel like if I when I play chords, I feel like I'm really stuck in that chord progression. That chord progression becomes my beat, and that's not like how I flow in music. You know, I'm not like I like to I'll play single notes, you know what I'm saying? But it gives me more of flexibility of how I can change up those single note placements throughout the song. You know, once I do the chord progression, people they get stuck hearing that chord progression and they like that chord progression throughout the whole track. So that they're expecting for that same chord progression to come up in this part or that part, this part, that part, that part. And then the chord progression has like a specific tone and mood to it too that I've noticed. Like it's like a certain tone, certain mood, and you stuck in that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like for my music to be stuck in that. Like if I play some of my songs, if I play I don't know, if I go on, but I don't feel like playing nothing. But I don't know, some of my music when I play it, when you listen to it, you hear this like certain changes that you normally wouldn't hear in like chord progression type music. Is different. So I like the way I do my melodies, and also I like the way like my breakdowns. I try to do a melody breakdown on all my songs. A lot of some people, they don't really do that. They do like the melody it just rides. Like I try to do. I try to like, how can I say it? Give the song an in and an out, I guess. I try to give the melodies ins and outs. And a lot of people, they don't do it, but they do it, and they don't know that they do it, which is pretty cool, I guess. Like some people, they'll start making a bass line, so they got to end with the bass line, and then they do like a little breakdown at the end of the bass line to ride it out. So that's technically what I'm doing, but I'm doing it with the melody. So, and I do it in parts too. I don't do it like I leave spaces. I like leave gaps in my music for me to fill it in. If you ever watch my live streams when I'm doing a song from scratch from beginning to end, you'll see like my progression. You'll see like how I break down my melodies, how I get my loops. But my loops they're not like just regular loops. They have a beginning, middle, and end. You gotta like pay attention to it. So if I take off all the percussion, maybe you might be able to hear it. You got the bass too. And to me, that's crazy right there. It's fire. It's like bananas. And I think that's like the next level in music production. Some people skip that step because they're probably doing like, let me see. Maybe I do it with this one. And I feel like some people on that part would probably keep that pattern. They would probably keep that pattern going. I'm saying like like they'll keep the pattern like. So it's like a loop, and I'm saying it sounds good. You know what I mean? So it's like. But in my music, if you pay attention to it, I tend to skip that last note, especially on the first part of the sequence. So like, then I let it fade out. I'm doing that on purpose because that's my style. I'm leaving space for me to add something in that spot, which will enhance my melody. So that's the difference. That's like a. I mean, I don't know I don't even remember what I played. Tell you the truth. Let me see. Oh, let me see. Yeah, so it's three. 1, 2. Right. Leave that gap right there. Leave that space. It's gonna give you more room to work. And then towards the end of it comes the breakdown. So it's, towards the end of that 4-bar, 8-bar sequence, it's the breakdown. So the breakdown is like, but it adds a sense of like it adds a heightened sense of awareness to let the listener know like, oh, it's a change coming. It's a change. And a lot of people And I don't know if they know that or not. I mean, I don't know. I've been doing music for, well, I was doing music for a long time. Then I stopped for many, many years and I came back to it. But when I was doing, I guess I guess throughout my entire time of doing music, I've gained this knowledge of rhythmic like progression. I guess that's the best way I could say it. It's like a rhythmic progression in a song. Maybe listening to all the background scores of movies and stuff like that, and listening to R&B tracks, or listening to hip hop tracks that are kind of like R&B pop tracks. If you listen to it, just like at certain parts of a song, they do like some type of a change, but that change is done specifically for a heightened sense of awareness, or I'm saying something rhythmic. So I've learned that throughout my time. So now when I'm making my melodies, night I wouldn't even know it. Like I'll make my melody and I'll just do it because I'm so used to doing it. I'll leave gaps, I'll leave spaces in between a lot of stuff, but those spaces are specifically for me to fill them in with something to add to the song. And I don't know what I'm going to add. Like this is the first melody right here. I didn't know what I was going to add. I had no idea. I'm just I'm scrolling through the sound, whatever feels good, whatever feels good, what's giving me that mood. I don't even know how the melody's going to come out. So then I don't even know like the chorus. I don't know like what the hook is going to be. I don't know none of it. I don't know how the flow for the verse. I don't even know the tempo really. I had to set a random tempo and just go. So, but working this freely, you get to make crazy stuff. So I leave gaps and then I come back and I fill it in. So let's see. Let's go to track mute. And let's do this is the fill. This is the first fill. And see, I left a gap right there too. Yeah, see? So this is all right, so this is just basically me breaking down what I need as far as the frequency range. So the frequency range, I need to fill it up when I'm doing from scratch. So I need to do starting from the low end going all the way to the high frequencies. So you might even have a sound like this. It's two different sounds, but I'm playing one more towards the mid low frequency and one towards the mid high frequency. So when you put them together, so that's a butter loop already. Now let's see what else I got here. I have, oh yeah, so I have a choir, but I added this for texture and texture only. You're supposed to hear it, or it's one of those subtle things. Like if you do hear it, you'd be like, oh, is it choir in there? It's one of those type of modes because you have to like compile like a foundation. You have to have a strong concrete foundation. And I didn't even put it in FL Studio yet and start like putting like widening effects. Like this track is not even wide yet. It's not wide full. Like once I put it wide full, it's gonna really stretch it out and cover the whole spectrum. You know what I mean? But in the midst of it, I need to fill up the track with a bunch of sounds that's gonna make it thick, full, and have texture. So and that is specifically a choir, but is EQ'd and has effects on it to get it to have that nice undertone rumble. They put them together. Sorry, put it together. You hear it? It's texture sitting right up under here. Let's add this one out. You hear that texture? And while I'm listening to it, I'm even hearing more things that I can do with that, especially like, definitely widening it even more. Or, so when I widen the whole track, it'll just widen itself. But I'm also thinking about putting like a reverb on here and really fatten it up. But it'll give like this undertone reverb dark sound under it. And of course, if I was to do that, I would clean the mud out of the reverb so it won't be a muddy reverb, but it'd give it a nice full bodied reverb, dark, quiet texture up under everything. So I'm already thinking of like how I'm going to mix it and master it in FL Studio. But I think that's such a beautiful taste, style, technique when it comes to music. And I do this a lot. I do a lot of like texture, building textures into my sounds. And I'm talking about a lot, man. It could be texture when it comes to me where I speed up a vocal and it like got that chipmunk effect, but it's not specifically the chipmunk effect. The chipmunk effect is basically for like a melodic approach of the voice inside of the track, but it's what I do with that. So maybe like the specific delays and reverbs and tremolos and all that stuff that are multi-chorus that add to that vocal that gives it texture and body, or the way the delay bounces and flows throughout the track. I might be doing that specifically for texture to fill up the sound and to get like, because the way I do my songs is a lot of space. So I might be doing specific things only to fill up certain things. It's kind of weird to break it down. And I know it's a lot for music production, but my mind literally goes crazy when it comes to like any and everything that I do. I try to do the most and the best and then perfect it. So this is an ill sound. It's texture. Texture. And it's not too much texture. It's just enough texture because I cut it off. And somebody else will probably hit that next note. So somebody else will probably be like, and probably hit that fourth note and then probably add another note there because they think like, oh, I got to stay into this progression. I got to fill up the whole, step sequencer. But me, I don't do that. I try to leave. I try like what I tried to do with this was really give it that texture feel, so you feel it and then it just cuts out and you're like, oh, where did it go? So then when it comes back in, it's a refresher. It refreshes again. It sounds really, really good again. That's why my loops can loop for a long time and sound good, because it's the way it breaks down. So I put all three of these back together again. Sorry. Now I'm gonna take the texture out. Yeah, the texture is not in there. That's just the main sound that I have. And add the texture to it. It's in the same frequency range, maybe a little bit lower, but it's adding that texture, a little bit of that rumble, grit, undertone, vocals. Ooh, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, yeah, like that's yo. And I can add more texture to this if I wanted to, like, and pan it out. You know, so like this texture is panned all the way 50 left and 50 right. It's on 2 tracks. So here's the one on the right ear, all the way. So I'm making space in the middle of the track so the instruments don't collide. There's no phasing issues and stuff like that. So that's all the way to the right. And then we got the one all the way to the left. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's another reason why that you can actually hear this sound really, really well, with the other sounds because they're not crowding each other in the middle. So this one's all the way to the right and to the left, giving me that texture, and I bring in the main strings. Bringing the highs. And to me, the high is a little too high. I'll probably even tuck them down even lower, maybe. But it's the chorus, so I could technically leave it because the chorus is gonna be more amped and more melodic and stuff like that. It's more musical, And then maybe for the verse, if I was to put those strings in there, tuck them down a little bit. So no changes. But then let's add the next sound to it. All right. Now, what I'm gonna do with this video too, because this is live stream, I think I'm gonna probably record some of this and put it out as a video because I'm actually explaining stuff, which is pretty cool. Especially if somebody wants to learn how to make something from scratch or just learn different techniques or learn my ghost wave style, because my ghost wave is very airy and it's like melodic flowing, cinematic air hop. But with this sound, it's duplicated, so it's 2 tracks, same sound, but they're mixed a little bit different. So I love that like whatever patch that was, it was pretty dope. It sound like what is it sound? I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it's pretty dope, the sound. So actually let me go to it and see here. So where am I at? Right, the sound is dope. I just like it. You know what I'm saying. So, but I mixed it 2 ways because I wanted to have. I try to get like a melodic bounce with my sounds. So some of my sounds might just have regular, multi-chorus, reverbs, and stuff like that. Maybe flanges, tremolos, ensembles, different things to change the dynamic of the sound. But what I try to do is I try to get a foundation. So I like build. Sometimes I may have a sound, one sound, uh, like mixed 3 ways, because I'm trying to build like a foundation with the sound, and I'm also trying to build a foundation that mixed with all the other instruments. So if I have like a piano, I might have that first piano more like full and big and like a big reverb on it. But that one is supposed to sit tucked down low. So then I'll probably duplicate that sound. And now I mix the second sound. It's the same piano, but I mix it a little bit different. But then I have to gel those 2 together so they sit perfectly together. Then sometimes, not all the time, but usually I just stop at 2. But sometimes I go a 3rd track. And I have 3 tracks of that one sound, same loop, whatever. And I do something else with that one, and I mix them all together so I can still hear. And the last one usually has less effects on it because I really want the raw sound to like just sit down above everything else I did up under it. But all 3 of those sounds, it would be it'd be dope because the way it flows. So like with this one right here, let me go and mute everything. Track 12 has this one. So if you hear it, I got track 12 bouncing around with multiple delays, but you can still hear the sound. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way you tuck the delay behind it a little bit. But I did that for like a rhythmic, chaotic approach to get the track moving, to get the track like flowing, to get it like, you know what I'm saying? And then let's take the first one. So as you can see, the first one doesn't have it has a delay on it, but it's very short. I believe it has a delay. Let me make sure. Yes, it has a very short delay on it. So it's like it's the repeater 16th delay, but it's not as big. Like the feedback on it is only 3%. Like it's barely touching. It's barely coming off of the sound. It's a very, very short delay, just to give a little bit more like texture to the sound. If I take off the let's say if I take the stuff off, take this off. Oh, I'm turning about it. That would kill your ears. That's the original sound with no effects. You know what I'm saying? Now I put the effects back on. I'll show you. Actually, let me do this one by one. So do the EQ. EQ is just cutting the highs off a little bit. You probably won't even tell the difference. It's cut a little bit of highs off of it. Let's bring in the multi-chorus. Makes a thicker sound, fuller sound. Bring in a delay. And the reason why I did it like that is because I'm building up texture. So I did a multi-chorus and then I put a delay under that. So now I'm actually delaying the original sound and I'm delaying that chorusy sound. So it's giving me more of a fuller, thicker sound, which is pretty dope. And then I throw a reverb on it to smooth it out and to pan it north and south. I want to set it back a little bit. 20% mix of the delay. But you see how now you see how the sound cuts off. So me putting that sound with the other one, and let me see something. Yeah, they're sitting in the center. So, no, not that one. Let's do. Now let's put it back together. Well, actually, I played the second one first. So you see how it has a little bit more of a melodic bounce to it. It stops, but it doesn't really stop. And the first one stopped on a dime. You know what I'm saying? It stopped at the end of that 4-bar sequence. Then when you put them both together, they sound crazy. So now the cool part is you get two dynamics. You could literally hear, if you pay attention, the first one when it cuts off, and then you can hear the second one like still riding out a little bit at the end of it. So it's just, I don't know. I've developed my own style, man. You know, I don't give up. Like there's so many things you can do in music production. I never get stuck. I know the only thing ever happens to me, I might get tired of working, then I'll stop because I'll be going for so long that I'll just come back to it. But my mind, I'm always thinking of different ways to enhance certain sounds and then incorporate more sounds. And I'm always thinking about my frequency range. I'm like, sometimes I'll have like mad sounds. I'm trying to fill it up. I'm trying to like, I know I get something in that frequency range right there too, man. Something, some texture, something. You know what I mean? So that's how I'll be working. And then so I've been practicing on how to mix vocals. So the way I mix vocals in my tracks is not the way I'm going to be mixing vocals when it comes to like let's say like a chorus or like a verse. When I start mixing my choruses and my verses for my songs, I'm not going to mix it this way. This way, when I mix my vocals, is for a melodic approach to fit the vocal into the track as if it's an instrument, like a flute or something. So that's what I do with these vocals. So it's going to be a difference. You're going to see a difference in the way I mix my vocals. But I'm only saying that because I don't want people to look at this video and be like, oh, he mixed his vocals wrong. Because technically, I'm not mixing my vocals wrong. I'm doing it for us. I'm doing a specific approach to it, okay? It's just my style. So I got the vocal. So you can see the vocals slammed with a bunch of effects, reverb, and all that stuff. And when I start mixing for my my songs, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure, like, you know, All my vocals are going to be on the send track. I'm going to make sure my I mean all my effects, like my vocal effect, like my reverb and all that stuff, is going to be on the send track. I'm going to do all the ducking, compression, I'm saying the parallel compression. I'm going to do all that good stuff, you know what I mean? Make sure I EQ the reverbs and make sure they're not thick reverbs, get all the mud out. Like, I know what to do, you know what I'm saying? But I'm specifically not doing that in this track or most of my tracks when it comes to using vocals as an effect. I choose to do it this way and it just sits better. So yeah, I just want to let people know I know the difference. Then I got a vocal in there, simple one hit, you know what I'm saying, stab of a vocal. That's it. You don't need much. Sometimes I do more. I might do a vocal chorus, things of that nature. And some tracks I do a vocal chorus and then I'll still do vocals in the verse. So it all depends. So yeah, we can just put it all together now. Just rock out, listen to the melody. I think the melody is pretty cool. Okay, yeah. Stay on the grind, 100 gotta get the climb. Hate all you want, cause your love is blind. Want so the hate, head up, stay on the hunt. We'll never get the climb. Hate all you want, cause your love is blind. Want you hating niggas fall behind. Some call the hawk, and I call the cleaver. Body you myself and give it forever. Yeah. Look at me crazy, son. Yo. Some call the hawk and I call the cleaver. Body you myself and never leave it to beaver. Most of these rap like divas. Most of these new rappers run around like divas. Most of these new rappers run around like divas. Most of these new rappers run around like divas. Some, yeah. Just practice your flow and you get it. You know what I'm saying? Yo. Don't hate, yo. I'm saying take, so make them levitate. Some call the hawk and I call the cleaver. Body you myself and some call the hawk and I call the cleaver. Body you myself and never leave it to beaver. Most of these new rappers running around like divas. Yeah, yo. Some call the hawk and I call the cleaver. Body you myself and never leave it to beaver. Most of these new rappers running around like divas. Sweating like Don Diva. Hawk, man. Yo, I was going crazy, son. Yeah. Can't wait to write it up, yo. Some call the hawk and I call the cleaver. Body you myself and never leave it to beaver. Most of these new rappers running around like divas. Don Diva. Real niggas. Real niggas. Don Diva. Yeah. And that's what it, yeah. Yo, some call the hawk and I call the cleaver. Body you myself and never leave it to beaver. Most of these new rappers run around like divas. Don Diva. Yeah. I'm messing around. Oh, somebody's in the chat. My bad. Oh. Is that Lenny? Is that how you say it, Lenny? What's good, man? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I do apologize. I don't get people in my chats anymore, so I don't. Yeah, I just I just talk, you know. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate that. Some call it the hawking, I call it the cleaver. Body you myself and never leave it to beaver. Most of these new rappers running around like divas. So I have another bar, but I didn't finish. I gotta put it. I didn't put it yet to finish that off. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. Running around like divas, they spreading it. They magazine spread it. No, they magazine spreading shit. Real life, they magazine spread it. They magazine spread it. Yeah. Oh, I gotta use the bathroom. Gotta use the potty. I'll be right back. Don't hate us, we stay on the grind. My credit cards will never get declined. Hate all you want cause your love is blind. Watch all you hating niggas fall behind. Don't hate us, we stay on the grind. My credit cards will never get declined. Hate all you want cause your love is blind. Watch all you hating niggas fall behind. Some call the hawking, I call the cleaver. Body you myself and never leave it to beaver. Most of these new rappers running around like divas. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Jesus. Yo, shit gonna get crazy, yo. That'll be a dope record, man. I need somebody to jump on this with me, man. Some call the hawking, I call the cleaver. And when I spit it, it's gonna be crazy. You know? I'm just practicing right now. I'm not on like the real mic. The real big mic is up here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just on my streaming mic right now. But when I jump on that mic and record it, it's over. Do like 4 or 5 different versions of it. Some call the hawking, I call the cleaver. Body you myself and never leave it to beaver. Most of these new rappers running around like divas. Let's hear it. Alright, enough of that. I'm gonna write it. I'm gonna write it up. Get my 16 done for this. But it sounds good though. The beat sounds good so far. Yeah. Woo! So I was playing around with some stuff, so let me see. But I'm definitely going to change the drum pattern for the verse, so it's going to be maybe 2 or 3 drum patterns. And the drums are mixed, but they're gonna sink in a little bit more. So if you listen to it, I'll do stuff and I'll leave it and I'll just listen to it. To be honest with you guys, guys and girls, I don't know who's in there, but I'll do something and I'll get it to a point where I like it and I'll listen to it. So I know that when I put it in FL Studio, there's certain things I want to do to the bass just to tweak it a little bit. Certain things I want to do to the kick, to fatten up the kick just a little bit, give it a little bit more oomph to it. Boom, boom, boom. Then I give it just a little bit more so it just sits perfectly together. But now, if you listen to the percussion, let's take this out. So, like for example, like the snare. So I'm listening to the snare, and I might cut some more of the highs of the reverb. Maybe, but it all depends. It's all in the context of mixing. So I might on the chorus leave it as is, but when it comes to the verse, cut some of the high off of that reverb, so I could leave a little bit of reverb tail on there, but it's not as present or present. It doesn't have as much presence, something like that. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking of that, and maybe adding another snare to complement that one, but the second snare will sit as like more, maybe have a little bit more body to it. It's like a little more grit. It all depends. I will see. Nothing is set in stone, but that's just my thought process. And then like you come over to like the hat, right? Yeah. Same thing. I like the way this sits. I might turn up the volume a little bit more though. I mean, but technically, something. See, one thing I do get caught up in is like I like to be melodic, like flow. So sometimes I'll get like my hi hats flowy, but it might be too flowy. You know what I'm saying? And I mean like too flowy when it comes to the effects that I add to it. So I might have like too much effects that I need to dial back on. So, but it's all in context. I listen to it to hear first. I listen to it 1,000 times, but yeah, I need to pull back on that. Then I'll pull back on it. So something like maybe like a delay that's on a hi hat, or maybe like a reverb that's on the hi hat. I'll pull back off of it, or maybe the core multi chorus effect. Maybe I might just lower down the how much is it, the mix that's on it. And the reason why I'm doing that is specifically because I want to bring the sound back out again. Because once you start adding all these effects to it, it's going to like dampen the sound. Like it's going to like kind of crush the attack, the or like the snare. It's going to crush it. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I might come back up off of this stuff, it just to bring back the attack a little bit. But it all depends. Every song is different. Some songs I leave it like I leave it smashed, I leave it damp, I leave it like that because that was the way I needed that melodic flow to go. So it depends. You know what I mean? So everything's in context. You have to put everything into context, but you have to do it step by step. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's not easy because you really have to listen and pay attention. Like that's why I don't just throw stuff. I try not to just rush stuff out there anymore. Before I was, and then when I go back and I listen to my music that's out there for the world to download or to stream, whatever, I'm like, oh, I should have done that. I should have did this, or there's too much reverb on that, or just, I rushed it. Now I really pay attention and listen, so that I could kind of like get it to the spot that needs to be. I don't want to say perfection, especially when it comes to anything. Not just really perfect in a sense, because there's so many different ways you could do things. Like if I was to say, "Oh, I got to perfect it," it is somebody down the block, but oh, I didn't really like it. It's because everybody's ear is different. Everybody's different. Everybody hears differently. Everybody like somebody might do a track and it's like their snares hitting really hard. The track might be dope and they like it, but I can't even listen to it because it's hurting my ears. You know what I'm saying? So everything it's different. It's difficult to say. So mixing is hard. It's not easy. Mixing, you really have to really pay attention to mixing. To me personally, I'm not the best mixer. There's people out there way better than me. So I'm just talking from my perspective on what I know and how I'm trying to get better. But there's people out there that they just know, they got it, and that's good for them, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hating on nobody. So, but I listen, I pay attention. That's why you hear me just listen to a loop over and over and over and over again. I'm trying to really pay attention to it, understand what's happening, what's going on. So that was the percussion. And the reason why I was saying that is because I try to make the hi hat more tucked in and melodic. Some people put their hi hats over the top of the beat. Now, that's their personal preference. Me, I don't like it. And I don't like to listen to music that has that either, because it hurts my ears. I have very sensitive ears. So it's different. But yeah. So I like 3. This is dope together, yeah. And this could be dope for the verse. I think I got the piano here. That's a dope piano. Oh, no effects on it yet either. Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that. Alright, let's listen to it. One thing I don't like is that it's hitting at different velocity levels. So let's delete that. It's the same throughout, so I'll just duplicate it. Nudge it over. It's just gonna build texture, that's it. Texture, that's it. Yeah. Texture. Yeah. So sometimes in music production we do too much. So and sometimes just keeping it simple and just letting the track flow is much better. So I'm thinking of just riding the strings very simple here, just very simple. I think I have something, so let me play it. Yeah, so I have strings in there right now. It's pretty much doing the same I'm doing right now. It's just different frequency range. So let me transpose that up really quick. So. Oh wait, hold on. What's wrong? Undo that. That goes there. Yeah. Hold on. Let me make sure the velocity is fine. Okay, yeah. 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 Yeah, that's dope for the verse part. And just it just comes in and out. It's not every 4 bars. So all right, let's mute that though. Let me see this. All right, I'm about to get off because I got to go do something. But like, that piano. I won't leave it like that because that piano's too soft. I mean, the melody is it's kind of like soft, melodic, hard. I don't know, whatever you want to put it. But inside the track, like inside the movement of the track, needs to stay gangster. Especially if I'm saying like, you know what I'm saying. Some call it the hawk, and I call it the cleaver. Body you myself, never leave it the beaver. Most of these new rappers running around like divas. You know what I'm saying? You spitting like that, you're gonna be spitting hard. You can't have a piano come in. It fits, but it doesn't fit. You can't come in like that. But this one works though. That's butter. That's butter right there. And I could even put that. I could put that in maybe on the 9th bar. So maybe it depends. I could put it at the 9th bar inside the verse, or I could put it at the 5th bar, which meaning like coming out of the 4th bar, going into the 5th bar, which might be dope because I could put it on the 5th bar, and then I could put it on the 13th bar. So like coming out of the 12th bar, going into the 13th bar, so that then it rides back into the chorus, something like that, something less melodic. Because that thing, the way it bounces. So. And this is how it's gonna bounce right here. Boom, right into the chorus. And so it's letting you know, like the chorus about to come. It's anticipate, giving the listener like, yo, something about to change, something big's about to happen. And that's how I do my music, man. So, and it goes along with the melody. It's dope, man. It's dope. That's oO5 Dynasty in a nutshell, right there. You know what I'm saying? Just never stop thinking. My mind's going crazy. Blah, 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 blah. But that other piano, it fits, but it doesn't fit, so it's not gonna go in there. I might find another sound, something ill that helps me out with the verse. So all right. So one part of the verse is done. I don't need to mess with that no more. You know, I change up the drum patterns and stuff like that. Maybe add a little vocal in there, something that's like a sped up vocal, because a lot of people like the sped up vocal. So I maybe add a sped up vocal, something that's cool. That part of the verse is done. So I'll put that on 2 parts of the verse. I got 2 more parts. So I gotta find one more sound that's gangster enough to go in there, and then the track is done. I'll export it out, go into FL Studio, just mix it, put on like my final touches on to get it nice and tight and glued together. Give it like that vintage sound from like back in there. Cause I'm gonna throw this like through a tape. I'm like it's VST, you know what I'm saying, but I'm gonna throw it through a tape plugin, get it like that nice vintage tape sound. Make sure there's no highs jumping out, no resonant frequencies and so forth. Get it nice and tight, and then that's that. Just record my verse, record the hook, record my verse, and then I want somebody to jump on it with me, and get somebody to jump on it with me, and that'll be that. It'll be a song down for my album. But that's how I work from scratch. I work from literally nothing, literally nothing on the screen. Open up the MPC, start working, and then a song comes from that, and do it all by myself. I write all my music myself. And that's it. I write my music from the instrumental all the way into my choruses and my verses. I write everything. I do everything from scratch. And that's it. But let me get going. I'll play this for a little bit, and then I gotta go and do some stuff. Yeah, I gotta go do some stuff. That bass back in there. Gotta have that nice bass line. Get the kick going. Here we go. Yeah, everything is sitting nice too. See, that means leave that vocal for the chorus and get another vocal for that joint. And change the bass. So that bass is specifically for the chorus. It sits perfectly with it. I get another bass, same bass. I'll use the same bass here because when it's all to match, I'll just play that different pattern. So it might be more of a riding pattern. So the bass would be more like, you know what I'm saying, like, so it's like not as many breaks. I'll leave for the verse. I like to do my bass riding, like hold the chords a little bit longer, and maybe towards the end of the loop, I'll do a little breakdown with the bass. So maybe I'll do it like that, like I don't know, and then and then. You know what I'm saying? Let that loop up. So I'll do something like that for the bass. So it's a little bit, it's more work to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not, it's not done, but it's almost there. It's all in my head too. So I already know what to do. I just got to do it. But it's your boy oO5 Dynasty. Let me get up out of this live stream. And I'm going to try to record some of this, go back and download it because I didn't record at the same time. And hopefully YouTube allows me to download it. I download it, I chop it up. I'm gonna put some of this on YouTube so people they can get a little insight on how I make my beats and let me talk about it. Especially since a lot of people don't come to my live streams. A lot of people don't come to my channel more. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. It's not a problem. I'm not complaining. I'm just working. I'm just saying, even though people don't come and check me out, I still want to put the knowledge out there because maybe somebody just walks along and they bump into my video and they be like, oh, that's pretty cool. And they watch it and they learn something. So we teach each other. That's it. All right, let me get up out of here. Peace out. I'll play this. I'll let this rock for a little bit and I'm gone, though. I'm gone.